weekends, yes, even some weekends, because I just want to make sure I find time that works for my clients. So here's the number. Again, as long as you're between the age of 50, 75, $250,000 or more saved, not including your real estate. Here's the number to call right now as we close out the show. 610-894-7415. Again, 610-894-7415. And don't worry, when you call now, we're not going to start building your plan right on the spot. My receptionist is going to take your name and number. We'll set up a time later this week. All of the meetings with me are all on the house. Pro bono, complimentary. All right, so take me up on the offer. I'll put together something nice for you. Here's the number one last time as we close up the show. 610-894-7415, Chris.
If there was something in your retirement plan as it stood right now that could stand to be improved, wouldn't you want to know about it as soon as possible? Or if you're doing a great job, wouldn't you want to know that as well and have that confidence, to proceed with what you're doing? That is the power of the second opinion of using Jim Cipriotti's 27 plus years of experience. It's not going to cost you anything but your time. So I encourage you, pick up the phone, be one of those first 5 callers right now, 610-894-7415, or go to the website, schedule a time there as well. That's retirereadyfg.com. As always, want to thank you for joining us here on Freedom to Retire with Jim Cipriotti. Hope you have a great week ahead of you. Really do appreciate you taking the time to spend with us. Jim, appreciate the time you spent here with us and the listeners. And as we wrap up, want to leave you with the final word.
Well, great, Chris. Hope everyone gets that second opinion like I talk about at the end of every show. Hope everyone stays safe with all this crazy weather. May the branch not fall on your house. May the ice cream cone not drip on your hand. Hope everyone has a fantastic week and looking forward to next time.
If you have questions or concerns about reaching your retirement goals, then give Retire Ready Financial Group a call, 610-894-7415, or visit online at retirereadyfg.com.
Chances are this has happened to you. You're driving in the rain and then, you meant to get those wipers replaced, but it was another one of those things that you just let go. And then it was too late. Planning for retirement is a lot like those wipers. If you don't plan ahead, well, this happens. Jim Cipriotti has been helping people plan ahead for retirement for over 2 decades. He can help you head off any of those surprises that pop up, like taxes on your Social Security check, sky-high Medicare premiums, income that doesn't keep up with inflation, and of course losing money in a market downturn. Call Jim Cipriotti for a free consultation today. 610-894-7415. That's 610-894-7415. Jim can help you make sure your retirement works like this and not like this. Insurance and annuities offered through James V. Cipriotti, Pennsylvania Insurance License 366900.
When you go on vacation, does it make sense to have someone else pack for you? Of course not. The same can be said for your retirement. Your 401k could be packed with things you don't know about or even need. If you're close to retirement but don't have a plan customized to your goals, that's kind of like taking a 30-year vacation with no idea what's in your suitcase. Seems like a stressful way to start what should be a relaxing time. Jim Cipriotti and the Retire Ready Financial Group can help you unpack your savings and build a plan to help reduce future taxes, along with a clearly defined income strategy. Call Jim at 610-894-7415 for your complimentary retirement game plan, or visit retirereadyfg.com. That's 610-894-7415.
Investment advisory services offered through Retire Ready Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through James V. Cipriotti, Retire Ready Financial Group, LLC, NPN number 2083768.
Investment advice offered through Retire Ready Wealth Management, Pennsylvania registered investment advisor, able to provide investment advice in states where it is registered, exempt, or excluded from registration. Content contained herein should not be construed as an offer or solicitation for investment advice or for the purchase or sale of any security, insurance, or other investment product. Investments involve the risk of loss, including possible loss of principal. Please consult with a qualified financial, tax, accounting, or legal professional before implementing any ideas or strategies discussed here. Content provided is obtained from sources believed to be reliable but cannot be guaranteed as to its accuracy or completeness.
This program is paid for by Retire Ready Financial Group. All opinions or statements expressed on the program are solely those of Retire Ready Financial Group or their guests and do not reflect the views of WPHT or Odyssey. Today's program is pre-recorded.
WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3 Philadelphia. From the Piazza Auto Group Studios, experience the power of one with 8 brands and 25 locations. Always live on the free Odyssey app. Live and local with Kathy Barnette on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Good morning, Pennsylvania. How you doing? This is your girl, Kathy Barnette. Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Delaware, Maryland. How are y'all doing? I've had people call in from Tennessee, from Michigan. So this signal goes out far and wide. Good Saturday morning to each and every one of you. You are listening to Kathy Barnette on the Kathy Barnette Show. Here is the call-in number. I would love to chat with you today. 855-839-1210, 855-839-1210. Again, I am never at a loss for things to talk about within a week's time. It is truly, I say it all the time, I will continue to say it. It is like drinking water from a fire hydrant, trying to keep up with all that is going on. But let me tell you guys, I was assaulted today. I was. I know Kirk is looking at me like, what? Mouth drop. I know, guys. I was assaulted. I was coming in to the office here and into the studio, minding my own business. I walked in to the business, so the assault happened right here, Kirk. Yeah, it did. I was minding my own business. I walked in. There was a man, a white man, standing here, and I was assaulted. I know Kirk's mouth is dropping. Look, you're talking, but I don't hear you, Kirk. Yeah, I was assaulted. Yeah, absolutely. I walked in, minding my own business, taking out my computer, getting ready to work like I always do, prepping the show. And this white man was just standing here, a white man I don't know. And he looked at me and he said, hello. Yeah, he looked at me and he said, hello. I don't know this white man. I don't know this white man. I'm minding my own business. I'm in here trying to work. And this strange white man looked at me, a black woman, and had the nerve to say, hello, how are you? My name is, and he asked for my name. And then we went on and talked for about 30 minutes. And I don't even know this white man. And he just said hello to me. I felt assault. I feel like I was assaulted.
Okay.
Kirk, I can see the concern in your eyes.
Yeah, I was like, holy crap, it's happening outside our studios. And I'm like, all right, I got to get security. Okay. Oh.
This is the world we're living in right now.
That is true. You're right. You're right.
This is the world we're living in right now. It feels like we have fallen. Mango Much said, Kathy, you had me for a bit, Helen. I know. This is the crazy world in which we're living in. But let me tell you, I was just chuckling to myself as this strange white man was talking to me like a human being, introducing himself, being all polite, asking me how my day was going. And I was just chuckling because I was like, oh my God, I won't even use his name on air. But I was chuckling to myself. I was like, you know what? This is America, really. When I travel all across Pennsylvania, we were doing 1,500 miles every single week, a minimum of 1,500 miles every single week for like 15 months, people. I was I was in people's homes, having dinner with them and their family. We were like almost knocking on every single door when I ran for U.S. Senate here against Dr. Oz and several others. back in 2022. And then I jumped onto the presidential campaign with Vivek Ramaswamy. And now I'm traveling with Vivek, this Hindu guy with a funny name that no one seemed to know how to pronounce initially. And we're traveling all across the nation, popping in and out of buildings where Vivek and I were the only two brown people in the room. And let me tell you, what I saw across the nation is exactly what I saw right here in Pennsylvania. There are more good than evil. I walked into these rooms. I saw Vivek walk into these rooms, and we were, I would walk into a room here in Pennsylvania, and I'm the only black person in the room. And yet I felt like I was their sister in the fight. I felt like, you may not look like me. My people may not always look like me as far as skin complexion is concerned, but my people are the people who are aligned on the things that matter. And it is family. It is God, our faith, the fact that we have a sense of hope and purpose, our country. These things I began to quickly realize those who, they may not look like me, and we may not think exactly the same on every single issue, but more times than not, my people are the people who think like me. Right? Who love this country, who love our family, who want to work hard, do what we do, provide a living for our families, and then go back into our respective corner. Those are my people. And this wonderful man that I met this morning for the very first time, I'm looking at you guys' comments. You fine anyway, anyhow, sweetheart. I know I had you guys going also. I know I had Kirk over here going. His eyes were bucked. His mouth dropped. He got up. I thought he was about to walk out of the room to go get security. I can't hear you, Kirk. He's over there talking.
Sorry. Yes, I was.
Yes, I know. I could see you. But that's how ridiculous it is. And Vivek and I, we would talk about this all the time. If you listen to media, if you listen to the algorithms on social media, you would think that the divide is 50-50, that half of this country has lost its plumb mind, and that the other half is just white knuckling through life right now, stressed out about how far our country has fallen. But let me tell you, it's not 50-50, the divide. There is a divide, and the divide is very real. But it's not 50-50. It's more like 80-20. And it's moving, and really it's moving instead of like 85-15. More and more people are waking up. More and more people are is it red pilled when someone is waking up from the Matrix? I've watched that movie so many times and I still can't remember, but I think it's red pill. A lot of people are being red pilled, and they're being red pilled with very little effort on our part. It's just looking at the demented Democrat Party and what they are not offering the people, flying to El Salvador, standing with illegal criminal rapists, molesters. It's what they're not doing. Instead of working with Texas legislators, they're hopping on planes and flying off to blue states around the nation, doing podcasts and interviews, cussing and fussing. That's not our country. I saw with my own two eyes, walking across not just the state of Pennsylvania, but our nation. There are a lot of good people. There are a lot of good people, good and kind people of all shapes, sizes, colors, social, economic backgrounds. There's a lot of good. But yes, there are some crazies, and if they're crazy, they're really crazy. They're like trying to usher in communism. It is crazy out here. But there are more people like us than those on the other side. We have to remember that. and to the mature white gentleman who greeted me this morning. It was a pleasant surprise, and I was very grateful for it. And I'm grateful that we can have dialogue. And what I learned in those, I mean, it probably wasn't 30 minutes. It's probably more like 10 or 15 minutes. But again, never met this man before in my life, and yet we were talking the same talk. We were thinking the same thing. I mean, he started talking about my babies or just children in general. And I have such a soft spot for our children and protecting the innocence of our children. I think that is our highest goal in life, is to protect the innocence of our children, to protect those who are the most vulnerable in our nation. And I just have a soft spot for vulnerable people, and especially our children, and protecting their innocence. And somehow we started talking about children, and boom, there we were on the same page. And I just thought to myself, never met this man, and yet he is my brother by a different mother, but he's my brother. In this battle. This is someone I want to know. I want to get to know. And we'll probably end up doing some shows together, but it was a great conversation. So anyway, I just wanted to throw y'all off your game a little bit, because a lot of what we're experiencing out here in the world with our children having lost their mind and, cutting off their own nose despite their face, right? Doing the good fight for illegal criminals to stay in our country without any understanding that they're actually destroying their own future. And a lot of this has taken place in our institutions of higher learning. And so when I saw today that the Trump administration, the federal government, has suspended about $584 million worth of grants to the University of California, UCLA, I was like, good. And when I saw the chancellor from UCLA put out a statement saying, if these funds remain suspended, it will be devastating for UCLA. I was like, double good. Awesome. That's exactly what we want. We want these institutions to take a knee. What we saw over the last 4 years, and yes, there have been a number of universities, University of Pennsylvania being one of them, who have taken the knee on transgenderism, rescinding the awards by the man who was pretending to be a woman and competing in the swimming events. These people are only now taking the knee and having a sense of, oh, now we understand, right, that a man can never be a woman. Now we understand that these men were taking opportunities from women. Oh, now we understand that all the men who we allow to participate in these sports, who stole our girls' scholarships and awards and recognition. Now, we didn't understand 4 years ago. We didn't understand even 6 months ago, 7 months ago. But now we see the light. No, these people are not. These people are unrepentant. And the moment Trump is no longer in office, they will blow back onto the scene like a bad case of herpes. I'm just saying. They will come back. And they will commence to destroying our values, our beliefs, our ideas that have made this nation, America, the greatest country on the planet. And I say that with zero equivocations. They haven't really learned anything. So when I hear that the Trump administration is hitting them where it hurts, their wallets, I'm like, good. And when I hear the chancellor of UCLA coming out and putting out this long-winded statement saying, poor us, if these funds or remain blocked, it will be devastating to us. Good. And the Department of Justice also put out a statement right after the chancellor put out their statement saying UCLA violated the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment and the Civil Rights Act, the Title VI of the Civil Rights Act, by acting with deliberate indifference and creating a hostile educational environment for Jewish and Israeli students. I would expand that it wasn't just Jewish and Israeli students. Yes, Jewish and Israeli students were their primary target. But what history has taught us is that what may start off as an attack against the Jews does not remain an attack against the Jews. Once they get the Jews, they come for everyone else, whether it's Christians, whether it's Black people, anyone who will not take the knee to their radical ways of thinking. So it wasn't just the Jewish community who were harmed. It was the American culture, our way of life, our way of showing up the best way we can and doing what it is that our pursuit of happiness. That is what they were attacking. And so I am so grateful. I know we're getting ready to go to break, but let me just rattle off real quick. Trump, in the past 6 months, Columbia University, he's frozen $400 million. Harvard University, he's frozen more than $2.3 billion. Cornell University, he's frozen $1 billion. Northwestern University, $790 million. University of Pennsylvania, $175 million. Princeton, $210 million. Brown, $510 million. Duke, $108 million. Johns Hopkins University, $800 million. And now UCLA, $584 million. Do you have that applause button ready? Hit it. Hit it. Come on, Kirk. I got to give Kirk like a running start. But let's give Donald Trump his roses as we head on off to break. Thank you, Donald Trump. We appreciate you. Still don't have the applause button. There it is. A round of applause for Donald Trump. Yes, and this administration. Thank you, sir.
Attention. Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers, so don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-207-4545. That's 800-207-4545. Once again, that's 800-207-4545.
At PGW, safety is essential to delivering clean, reliable natural gas to Philadelphia homes and businesses. If you smell gas, call PGW at 215-235-1212.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textingterms.us. Texting enrolls you for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply or play stop to opt out.
You work hard for your money, so why let traditional banks hold you back? At Current, we're flipping the script with banking that keeps up with your life. With Current, your paycheck does more. Need money before payday? Access up to $750 with the paycheck advance if you qualify. No credit check, no hassle. Also, the Build Card makes it simple to build credit with no annual fees or hidden traps. Members boosted their credit scores by more than 80 points after just 6 months. Get ahead. Get current.
To get started with Current, text SPEND to 323232. That's SPEND to 323232. Text SPEND to 323232.
Banking services provided by Choice Financial Group and or Cross River Bank, both members FDIC. Paycheck Advance provided by Fineco Advance LLC, a financial technology company, not an FDIC insured bank. Product eligibility, availability, and performance may vary and are subject to change at any time. Using your credit card responsibly may allow you to improve your credit score. For details on cost, terms, and conditions, visit current.com or call 1-888-851-3177.
Here's a harsh fact. 40% of women and almost 20% of men suffer from varicose or spider veins. And if you think this is just a cosmetic problem, think again. Varicose or spider veins, if left untreated, can lead to swollen or discolored legs, cramping, the inability to stand or walk, neuropathy, even worse, blood clots, which can travel to other parts of your body. But here's the good news. Advanced Medical Vein Treatment Centers offers plans that treat and cure the condition, not just cover up. Grab your phone, take down this number, and call 800-587-1274. That's 800-587-1274. When you call, you'll get free information on how you can live your life to the fullest again. Walk, exercise, sleep well. Your vein problems will not go away on their own, and in time can lead to major health issues. Call Advanced Medical Vein today for free information on fast and easy solutions that are covered by most insurance plans, Medicare included. Call 800-587-1274. That's 800-587-1274 today.
Hey, Jeff, looks like your business is really booming, even in a tough time for businesses like ours.
Hey, Mike. Yeah, thanks to LendSeek, our business was able to take care of some outstanding bills and taxes and to purchase inventory and expand our product lines.
Wow. You know, my business needs working capital, but only from a reputable company that I can trust and count on. How does LendSeek work?
Fast and easy. Just apply at lendseek.com. Their AI lending platform gave my business access to over 100 funding programs with one simple application. And it costs nothing to apply.
At lendseek.com, you can receive business funding with no collateral, no prepayment penalties, and no restrictions on how you use the funds. Whatever your funding needs are, seek no more. Our AI lending marketplace has you covered. If you've been in business at least 1 year with annual revenue of at least $250,000, you could get the funding your business needs in as little as 24 hours. There's no obligation, so apply today at lendseek.com. That's LENDSEEK.com.
Now you can listen to Talk Radio 1210 WPHT on the iHeartRadio app.
They don't love you like I love you. Hey, Pennsylvania, this is your girl, Kathy Barnette. Listen, call me at 855-839-1210, 855-839-1210. I have to say, I'm looking at the comments on YouTube right now, and Susie Love, I think you have won the comment section today. She said, my daughter will ask me, guess what I got? And I answer, herpes? That is hilarious. So, Susie Love, you have won. Yes, give her roses today. I love it. The sarcasm. You cannot be so serious. Life is brutal. I was literally talking to a family member a couple of days ago, and they were talking about how their daughter, who's 12, feelings got hurt and felt uncomfortable. And I'm like, well, what happened? Like, did something happen? No, like nobody lied. The truth was being told, but it made the little girl uncomfortable, because truth and a loving environment among people who care about her made her feel uncomfortable. And my brother was like, what should I do? And I said, you should go buy her a helmet because life is tough. You cannot bubble wrap your children, people. Life is tough. But yes. Oh, and also I want to say David in South Carolina is out here listening to us. I tell you guys, we are talking to so many people all around the nation, and it's so cool. I asked him, how did you find WPHT? And he said, by looking for radio stations that are talk radio up in Lehigh Valley area. My wife is up from there, and we come up to Pennsylvania every summer. So, David, thank you for listening, and I appreciate that. I just want to give a shout out to our YouTube channel. Those in the comments, you guys can listen to us also on YouTube. So go out there, find us, 1210 WPHT. And you can also see me. I'm on, I can see myself. So, hey, what about that? Okay, let's pivot real quick because I want to talk about something else Donald Trump has done. Again, y'all know Donald Trump did me no favors in that 2022 race when he endorsed Dr. Oz and then unleashed all of fake MAGA to start lying on me that I was potentially a part of Black Lives Matter. Yeah, that really did happen. Friday night, Sean Hannity said I could be a member of Black Lives Matter. I mean, I am black. But then 2 days later, Sean Hannity was saying, look, she's marching with the Proud Boys. I'm like, okay, I cannot be both of these people. I cannot be a potential member of Black Lives Matter and marching with the Proud Boys. I mean, you got to pick a version of me you want to go with. But again, as we talk about all the time, public opinion is everything. And with it, you cannot fail. Without it, you cannot succeed. So you have to ask the question, who is framing and molding and creating and manipulating public opinion? It matters. So that's my qualifier with President Trump. Did me no favors in that 2022 race. And yet, as a grown woman who I am focused, I understand what our priorities are. Faith, my family, my country. I want all of it to be strong. I want it to be well. I want healthy children. I want to unleash upon the world mentally, emotionally, physically healthy young people, right? And President Trump is just checking off all of those boxes. So whether you believe Orange Man is bad and he can't do anything right, I mean, literally, you need to take your head out of the sand and you need to focus and prioritize what's most important. Your hurt feelings or creating an environment where we can practice our faith out loud. Living in an environment where we can raise our children how we want to raise our children versus how the state tells us to raise our children. And if we want an environment where our leader is not going around the world on an apology tour, but a leader who actually loves this country and wants to see this country do well. And if that is your priority, you cannot help but to look at what Donald Trump has done in the past 7 months, 8 months almost, and say, this is a good thing. And so anyway, he announced another bold move, one that could change how political power and federal dollars are distributed across our country. He has ordered a complete overhaul of the U.S. Census with a clear directive. Illegals will not be counted. Boom. Period. Hard stop. Next. People who are in our country illegally will not be counted in the census. That is a direct quote from Donald Trump. He's calling for a new and highly accurate census. He says this count will be based on modern day facts and figures and will incorporate data from the 2024 presidential election. This should be a hard stop. How many illegals do you think are being counted in our census? I asked ChatGPT, and ChatGPT, who I affectionately call Logic as a direct result of my son, says that roughly 11 million people. That is the count from ChatGPT. But now that is the same number, 11 million people, that we were saying back when Obama was in office. It was the same 11 million people when Bush was in office. And on my campaign, I had a former director of the immigration department, and he admitted that $11 million is just a number they pulled out of thin air. It means absolutely nothing. Do you think these people are literally going around and just, like with that little counter ticker, that yet you could just click, 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 and count the number of illegals who have come into our country just up until, 2016. Let's not even talk about what we all saw over the past 4 years of the Biden administration. I say 20 million came in to our country illegally over the past just 4 years alone. Prove me wrong. You can't, because no one is sitting there click, 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 click counting. 20 million people. They say, 10 million. That number just came out of the sky. It means absolutely nothing. Just over the past 4 years, 20 million came into our country illegally. So 20 million plus, let's say 30 million who were already here prior to the last 4 years during the Biden administration. So let's say, since we're just making up numbers, that we have 30 million illegals in our country. Prove me wrong. And what the U.S. Census does is that it counts every person living in the country, regardless of citizenship, regardless of legal status on Census Day. So let's say we have 30 million. That is powerful, because the census, again, isn't just a head count. The U.S. Census is used to decide the seats in the House of Representatives. How many seats will a particular state have? Will that state have 4 U.S. Congress seats, House of Representative seats, or will they have 14? It's all dependent upon how many people are living in that particular state. And when you look at it from that perspective, unless you're morally compromised or just flat out stupid, you understand that those jurisdictions, those sanctuary jurisdictions, have an unfair advantage on the rest of the nation, because those seats that are in Washington, D.C., that makes up, for those who say, I don't like politics, please get your head out of the sand. Politics isn't everything. The air, the quality of air you're breathing, your property taxes, whether your children will be indoctrinated with LGBTQ, I call them the alphabet mafia, whether that foolishness will be shoved down their throats or not. Politics is in everything. Whether you will take the jab or lose your job. Politics is in everything. The price of eggs. Politics is in everything. And it starts with the number of seats that are coming out of particular states that have an agenda that is opposed to the rest of the nation. So the census is not just counting a head count. It determines the seats in the House of Representatives. It determines the electoral college votes. It determines an allocation of roughly $1.5 trillion of federal funding for programs like Medicaid, highways, education, and so much more. On the other side of the break, we're going to break down specifically the electoral college votes when we come back. You're listening to The Kathy Barnette Show. Call me.
Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan. Featured products are compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Want a boost in and out of the bedroom? Hims has you covered. Introducing a new 2-in-1 approach to level up your game. Tadalafil for better bedroom performance and zinc for testosterone support. Put it all together and you've got what you need to turn things all the way up. Getting started is simple. Just go to hims.com/joy to start your free online visit. Through Hims, you can access ED treatments including pills, chews, and more. 100% online. No office visits, no pharmacy lines. Just fill out a simple intake form and a licensed medical provider will determine if treatment's right for you. If prescribed, it ships free and discreetly to your door. Find affordable treatment options at up to 95% less than brand names at hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy, HIMS.com/JOY.
Extreme heat, power outages, don't get left in the dark. Power up with a Generac generator from MT Rule, your local Generac generator dealer. Certified technicians properly size and install your generator. Free estimates, financing options, peace of mind, and annual service contracts. Plus, 1210 WPHT listeners get a special offer. $300 off your generator installation, a 5-year extended warranty, and 1 year of free mobile link monitoring. Call now, 610-539-2920. That's 610-539-2920.
Don't miss the Labor and Energy Show with J-Doc and Krause. Brought to you by the Labor and Energy Alliance this Saturday night at 6. Find out about the important issues that will affect you. The Labor and Energy Show, Saturday night at 6 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. Did you know the IRS has programs specifically designed to help people struggling with tax debt? Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, their award-winning tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. One call to Optima can start the process, helping to put an end to your worries about wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other aggressive IRS actions. Find the best options to solve your tax problems. Call the experts at Optima Tax Relief today for a free consultation.
Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Summer is here, and it's time to plan your style staycation with Bob's Discount Furniture, where you can find everyday low prices on the hottest styles. The comfiest Consumer Reports recommended mattresses, fast, friendly delivery, and flexible financing to fit your budget. Go to mybobs.com for details. So stock up and score everyday low prices, delivered on time all summer long at your nearest store or at mybobs.com.
Oh, my Bob!
Bob's Discount Furniture.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. We're dedicated to serving people 50 and up like me. Our needs are different. Big Wireless wants us in an unlimited plan, but if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used. At Consumer Cellular, we're focused on affordable, reliable plans, including data that suits your needs, not ours. Our plans start at just $20, and you'll get the best customer service in the business.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com/facts or a store near you. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
Calling on East Greenville to follow Talk Radio 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it today.
Everyone. Okay, let's get into these numbers, everyone, because I think it's important. Remember, you don't need more information. What I believe we need as a nation is wisdom, right? Knowledge. We're all walking around with knowledge at the palm of our hand, especially if you have Chat GPT on your phone. You know, knowledge is there, information is there. But how do you apply that information in a way that is meaningful and that matters and that produces good seeds so that we can plant good seeds for future generations? That is what I believe we are missing out on as a nation. And because public opinion is everything, we're going to talk about it. So you guys are watching what is unfolding in Texas right now. Everything that is happening with Texas, the redistricting, why Democrats are fleeing the state, why this is a hill many of them have said they are willing to die on. This is the reason why, because the census, the U.S. Census counts every person, regardless of citizenship or legal status. And I know there are those who say, oh, there's only 11 million illegals in this country. Oh, only 10 million illegals crossed the border over the past 4 years. Those are lies made up out of those numbers have been made up out of thin air. So let's go with 30 million illegals. I think 30 million. I think my number is just as reliable as some of the numbers that are coming out from these talking heads. So let's go with my number of 11 million. And what Donald Trump is saying, these illegals will no longer be counted because it's power. Again, the census is not just a head count. it determines the number of seats in the House of Representatives. Those seats matter because if they have more seats than not, there's a problem there. And then you have the Electoral College vote as well. So let's talk about that Electoral College vote. As most of you know, let's just do the math. Simple numbers. Stay with me. There are 538 Electoral College votes, right? But as you know, it only takes 270 Electoral College votes to win. While sanctuary jurisdictions make up only 31% of the total 538 Electoral College votes, they account for roughly 61% of the 270 votes needed to win. So, for example, I'm looking at the sanctuary states and their electoral votes. So you have California, they have 54, Colorado 10, Connecticut 7, Delaware 3, DC 3, Illinois 19, Minnesota 10, New York 28, Washington State 12. All together, when you add up the Electoral College votes coming out of these sanctuary states, it's 167 votes that's coming out of these sanctuary states. Well, you only need 270 to win. That means that for a Democrat, for example, they are already starting off in a great position. A candidate starting with sanctuary jurisdictions, those states that have declared they are sanctuary states, as a base, they only need about 103 more electoral votes to hit the 270. So those extra votes could be picked up from just a few large swing states like Pennsylvania. How about that? Like Michigan, like Georgia, like Arizona. And unless you've been living under a rock these past several presidential elections, you know that Michigan, Pennsylvania, Georgia, Arizona, all eyes turn to them because during a presidential election, which we will have again by the grace of God in a few short years, Democrats are already starting off with 61% of the 270 votes they need. So they only need 103 more. So they don't travel all across the nation. They don't go to Tennessee. They don't go to Alabama. No, they fly over the majority of the country and they just focus on Pennsylvania, Michigan, Georgia, Arizona. And you've seen those particular large swing states can go either way, right? And so what Donald Trump is saying, that is an unfair advantage. That's almost a third of the total votes. That's a huge block to overcome. So while sanctuary jurisdictions can't deliver the White House by themselves, their size mean they still have major sway. And the Democrats only need a handful of states. So that's a solid base for one party to have. 61% of the 270. That's a formidable base to have, forcing opponents, i.e. Republicans, to compete harder in swing states. It can influence national policy priorities because candidates can't ignore. Remember when Republicans were running during the Biden administration and Democrats would just flat out ask, Philadelphia Inquirer would just ask me, can you define a woman? Thinking I wouldn't, thinking I would kowtow down. Well, there were those Republicans who were running in office who pretended that suddenly they could not define what a woman is. So because Republicans were sensitive that Democrats control a very powerful base. And as a result, even Republicans would not define. Many Republicans were too afraid to define what a woman is. Now, of course, everybody has found their testicles. And now everybody is bold, right? In the Republican Party, beating their chest. But when it mattered, when it counted, whether your business was open or shut because you refused to force the jab on your employees, it mattered. And remember, here in Pennsylvania, I can count on one hand the number of statewide or Republicans in state Republicans who said anything. I could count on one hand, and I still have fingers free. So that's one thing. That electoral college is very important. But here's the other insidious thing about this, because the other thing Donald Trump is putting a spotlight on is the 14th Amendment. Democrats says Donald Trump is a threat to our democracy because he is skirting the 14th Amendment that says representation must be based on the whole number of persons. That's what Democrats are basing all of this on. Do you guys remember why the 14th Amendment was necessary in the first place? This isn't the first time America has fought over who counts in the census. Back in 1787, the 3/5 Compromise let Southern states count black slaves as 3/5 of a person. Not because slave owners cared about black people, not because slave owners saw black people as people. No, it was not to give black people rights, but to boost the South's population numbers for political power. And my, oh my, here we go. The Democrat Party, the founders of the KKK, the creators of Jim Crow laws, the ones who enslaved black people, the South, these Democrats, using the black mouths of people like Jasmine Crockett, using their black mouth to work their own agenda. It's so insidious. The 14th Amendment was put into our Constitution to fight against slaveholders who only wanted to count 3/5 black people as 3/5, not because they cared about black people or wanted to give black people some special rights, but because they wanted political power. And here we have Democrats doing the same thing because it is endemic in these evil people. Not all Democrats are evil. Listen, I'm black. The majority of my family are Democrats. They're not evil. They're just gullible and highly uninformed. Now, they think they're informed, but they're just highly uninformed people. But there are the puppet masters who are pulling the strings, and they know exactly what it is they're doing. And now they're out here saying, oh, wait a minute, the 14th Amendment, you got to count the illegals, the undocumented. No people are illegal. Remember all of that? We got to count them. Otherwise, we're going against the 14th Amendment that says we have to count the whole number of persons. But listen, Democrats are not trying to count illegals as a whole person because they care about the illegals. Remember, these are the same people who said, if we don't have illegals, who's going to pick our cotton or crops? They don't care about these illegals. They understand they're powerful. They give them more seats. They give them an electoral college vote. They don't really have to fight for ideas or debate ideas. They can just call you a racist. They can just malign you, and they can throw you in prison if you misspeak or something, right? That's what this is all about. It is about power. They don't care. So therefore, we have to care enough to understand what Jasmine Crockett, horrible person. Do we have time to play her little clip? Play it. Can you play it? It's a real short clip. I mean, she's an idiot, but she's a black.
This Supreme Court is corrupt. So again, serving on the Judiciary Committee, there are bills that we have put into place. We need to have some real guardrails around this Supreme Court because the Supreme Court has paved the way for half the stuff that we see that's going on. Listen, Donald Trump is a piece of... Okay, we know that. Yes.
Trash.
Yes.
She's trash.
He is.
She's trash. And she's demoralizing and dragging our nation into the gutter. But it is intentional. They use these black faces with these ratchet mouths to go out here and say some of the most abhorrent things because they're punking us. They're trying to intimidate us. If you can get a black face with a ratchet mouth to go out here and say abominable things, they believe that will shutter us, and it has worked. They've used these black faces with these trash mouths to go out here into the culture and force the rest of us to do things, to accept things and policies we otherwise would never accept. We would never accept open borders. We would never accept our children being taught about all of this foolishness, except for a black face with a trashy mouth. I see y'all on the other side.
Attention, have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers, so don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-207-4545. That's 800-207-4545. Once again, that's 800-207-4545.
Your dream kitchen or bath starts with family. Ours. At Kitchen Magic, we're a second-generation, family-owned company with over 45 years of experience remodeling kitchens and baths. We proudly make our own cabinets in the USA, so we're tariff-proof and built to last. Right now, you can save up to 30% off cabinets through August. Choose the experts your neighbors trust. Kitchen Magic. Call or visit kitchenmagic.com to schedule your free consultation.
Head on down to Citizens Bank Park on Friday, August 22nd at 6:45 when the Phils host the Nats, and fans 21 and over receive a City Connect Miller Lite floppy hat. Grab tickets now at Phillies.com. When the sun goes down, the rivalry heats up. Don't miss another City Connect Friday on August 29th at 6:45 when the Atlanta Braves come to town to face the Phils. Secure your seats today at Phillies.com.
Tune in tonight starting at 7 p.m. for the Bob Pantano Saturday Night Dance Party. Live from Adelphia in Deptford, the Bob Pantano Saturday Night Dance Party is broadcast exclusively on 98.1 HD2 and Bob Pantano Dance Party Radio on the Odyssey app. Driven by Colonial Nissan.
Pastor Brad Lacey here, First Baptist Church, Conshohocken. Join us Saturdays for the great message and be blessed. 5 a.m. right here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textingterms.us. Texting enrolls you for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply or play stop to opt out.
You work hard for your money, so why let traditional banks hold you back? At Current, we're flipping the script with banking that keeps up with your life. With Current, your paycheck does more. Need money before payday? Access up to $750 with a paycheck advance if you qualify. No credit check, no hassle. Also, the Build Card makes it simple to build credit with no annual fees or hidden traps. Members boosted their credit scores by more than 80 points after just 6 months. Get ahead. Get Current.
To get started with Current, text SPEND to 323232. That's SPEND to 323232. Text SPEND to 323232.
Banking services provided by Choice Financial Group and or Cross River Bank, both members FDIC. Paycheck advance provided by Fineco Advance LLC, a financial technology company, not an FDIC insured bank. Product eligibility, availability, and performance may vary and are subject to change at any time. Using your credit card responsibly may allow you to improve your credit score. For details on cost, terms, and conditions, visit current.com or call 1-888-851-3177.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. We're dedicated to serving people 50 and up like me. Our needs are different. Big Wireless wants us in an unlimited plan, but if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used. At Consumer Cellular, we're focused on affordable, reliable plans, including data that suits your needs, not ours. Our plans start at just $20, and you'll get the best customer service in the business.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com/fax or a store near you. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
If something happens to you, what happens to your family? Will they struggle financially? Will they be able to afford the home you built together? With Ethos, you can get life insurance coverage in minutes. Get up to $2 million in coverage for as little as $2 a day. All online with no medical exam. Just answer a few health questions. Get your free quote at ethos.com/life. That's ethos.com/life. Rates may vary. Billed monthly. Sample rate 10-year term life policy for a 35-year-old healthy non-smoking male.
Free speech lives here with Kale and Company weekday mornings on Odyssey's #1 talk station, 1210 WPHT.
Okay, guys, we are rounding out. I tell you, this hour feels like 15 minutes. But listen, I want to bring my blood pressure down. I want to bring your blood pressure down and leave you on a high by giving you some information. Apparently, if you want to understand a society, don't just look at its income, diet, or education, but look at how their people sleep. So there was a global sleep study that was done, and it links how much sleep on average its citizens get to the nation's health, wealth, and work culture. So the Netherlands get the most sleep, 7.55 hours, followed by New Zealand at 7.45. America gets 7.1, and Japan gets 6.3. They were at the bottom. What I thought was interesting is that they said, now this is not a surprise, right? Smartphones have become the world's most common sleep disruptor. South Korea, United States, and the UAE rank among the top in daily screen time, while Mexico and Italy slow things down before bed. Philippines, they're on their phone not over 9 hours. Like, how do you work? Brazil, 9 hours. America, over 7 hours. We're on our screens. I mean, do we have a job? Love y'all. Blessings. Bye-bye.
Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan. Featured products are compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. See website for details, restrictions, and